boy, I have a favor to ask you. I've lost something.
What'd you lose?
I mentioned one thing. Oh, I am sorry. In fact, it's about a friend. Charles? You remember Charles? No, you can't remember him. Silly me, you never met him. Anyway, Charles is a friend. A scientist co-worker. He was way more successful than I must say. So, he's a friend, and I lost him. It looks like he disappeared, and I am a bit worried. I know that he was doing some sensitive research. Important. Maybe he ran into problems because of that. Anyhow, it's hard to tell.
How do you want me to find him?
He has an assistant. Very nice. She used to make delicious pastries. Unless I'm mixing her up with someone else. Anyway, he had an assistant. I'm pretty sure of it.
I'll go find her. She must know what happened to him. And if she does, it'll turn out the professor is just at a conference somewhere.
Maybe. It's true I don't get invited to conferences as often as I used to. It's rather unfair. I used to love the cocktails they serve.
Hey there, I'm looking for Charles Seeker. You know where I could find him?
And you are?
Zachariah Mancer. The professor and I have a mutual friend who's worried about him.
I know the feeling. Haven't seen him for days. I'm Veronica Seeker, the professor's assistant. I got a message informing me he had taken an impromptu vacation, but it's not like him. He didn't even like to sleep, said it just wasted time. Even more than likely in the middle of the research he was doing.
Yeah, seems a bit off, doesn't it? The professor was supposed to start some research with a friend of mine as well. I'm sure he'd already started work on it before leaving. You know anything about it?
Of course. I was involved with the professor's research, though I shouldn't discuss it with anyone without his consent. But with that last name, Mancer, I suppose this Technomancy research is of particular interest to you. Otherwise, most people barely bat an eye towards the scientific aspects of Technomancer powers.
If you're concerned that the message wasn't really from the professor, did you report his disappearance?
To the authorities? Of course not. The authorities, Mr. Mancer, have far more pertinent issues than this, which I am sure will work itself out in time. Now, if you'll excuse me.
Veronica, I know I'm not exactly a prime physical specimen, but I should hope that I am still not so forgettable. Unless I'm wrong and we do not know each other, what is, after all, certain in this life? It might all just be a confounding dream. Like the one I had last night, where, trying to wear my pants as a shirt, I found my nose got caught in the zipper.
Professor Scott. Oh my. Hello. I am so sorry I did not recognize you. You should have told me earlier to save me from this embarrassment. Was it you who was planning a collaboration on the Technomancer research? I'm afraid the professor's vocal railings against the ASC and their ceaseless power grabs might have finally come back to bite him. He would even preach to his colleagues and the listeners at conferences. I would give anything to be wrong, of course, but hope is oftentimes incongruous with the reality we must come to face.
Zachariah, could you... Anyway, could I talk to you in private?
What's going on?
I know that I'm asking a lot from you, but I was wondering if maybe you could continue to investigate. You are someone important now. You know a lot of people. They can tell you if Veronica's suspicions are justified.
I could probably talk about it with my captain, or tap into some contacts in the know.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I want to be sure, you see. I think that you need to recover his latest research. I strongly believe that. Besides what he said, he found something dangerous. The ASC, they're thugs. We must not allow sensitive scientific research to fall into their hands. The risks are too high.
I'll see what I can do, but I doubt that Veronica will give me Charles's documents willingly. She's very protective of her boss's work.
Why did Charles start getting into politics? Politics has no place in the scientific community. It's such a plebeian concept. Look at Paul. She's like a lost soul.
I can't take this anymore. I don't even have enough to feed my kids. My job feeds a damn boy more than my own family. Keep your mouth shut. You wouldn't be the first to moan and end up sleeping under the sun.
I don't mean to, but Zachariah, you know what is in that building, right? What are we doing here?
If there's anyone who knows where the professor is, besides the guys who made him disappear, it's this guy right here. Anton Rogue knows everything and everyone in Ophir.
All right. Yes, I trust you.
Mr. Mancer, the sight of your face has started to give me agita. To what do I owe the displeasure this time?
Professor Charles Seeker. I'm looking for what happened to him. What can you tell me?
The dangers of having a mind, of using it, and especially of speaking it, I'm afraid. His research and political opinions push the line, and patience of some. Funny how smart and wise don't always go hand in hand. That said, word is he boarded a train. Not so much a pleasure trip. More like a forced hiatus given the military escort and the colonel's re-education camp he was bound for. No matter the power of the mind, the power of a gun always seems to gain the upper hand in the end. Don't you think?
I gotta go.
Then go.
Veronica, I need a favor. I'm looking for access to the professor's compiled research documents. Might be a big help to me.
It's just not my work to share, Zachariah. If he came back, I don't think he'd be too pleased to find out I handed it away. You ever find out what happened to him?
From what I could gather, he was arrested and thrown into the correctional camp. Apparently his criticism of the government was more important to them than his work. Times we live in, I guess.
I don't even know what to... Such a loss. A waste. Maybe his work shouldn't be abandoned. If he's not coming back anytime soon, or at all, then you can do good with it.
Hi, Scott.
Hello, my boy. How are you? Nothing broken, I hope?
Unfortunately, I've received confirmation of what Veronica suspected. Charles was arrested and deported to a camp as a punishment for his comments. I'm sorry, Scott. I did bring back his research, though, since you wanted it.
Thank you, Zachariah. Camp. How awful. But what is happening to our dear abundance? We won't beat Aurora if we get rid of our scientists. Anyway, I'll take a look at these documents. No doubt our dear Charles was worried. They're coded. It's funny, it reminds me of the code we used as students, so that the professors wouldn't know about our adventures. All this is a little far away. I'm gonna have to think about it. Thank you, Zach. Thanks again.